Hey, it's Aaron the Metal Theologian, and so I've got a few new arrivals here. Last week was kind of a busy week, unusually so actually. It's been a lot of dry weeks lately, but last week was kind of busy, and I'm going to throw in a couple other things at the end, specifically a little shout out to Truth and Janey, and then a little something else at the end that I want to turn everyone on to. First of all, though, I am drinking Blenheim Ginger Ale. If you haven't heard of it, neither had I. This is actually a local South Carolina ginger ale. It's from Pure Water, it says. You can see that on the label. No contaminated water here, just fucking pure water. These guys are based in... Shit, I don't remember. It's some little town. I must just set it on the package, the 6-pack container. But it's in some tiny little town somewhere in South Carolina. I kind of dig the fact they're local. Fucking out in the sticks somewhere local, not even Charleston or Columbia or something. So anyway, I actually had one of these pretty spicy, so you might get to see me cough here. Hang on. Yeah, man, that's some real fucking ginger in that shit. Jesus, man. That's what a ginger ale should taste like. That's some good fucking shit. It's spicy as fuck. I don't know if any of you ever had the, God, what is it? There's a pineapple, I think, and a tomato drink that have some hot sauce in them. These seen cans occasionally, or I saw occasionally on the West Coast. Fuck, I don't remember what brand it was. Might have been Tapatio or something like that, but that was some good shit. But this is as spicy as that shit, man. Yeah, right on. Ooh, yeah, you don't want that shit coming out of your nose. Alright, this first one might be a little surprise too. It might surprise you a little bit to see as a new arrival, but right here I have the first Sanctuary record, and believe it or not, I've never owned anything by Sanctuary before. I actually saw them live in 1988 with Testament and Megadeth and Flotsam and Jetsam. I remember thinking they were pretty good. Although, this is how I thought back in the 80s, so let me just fess that up, but I thought the singer looked like kind of a dork with his fucking hair looking all ironed and shit like that. And it was really long live, too. It was even longer than that. It was like his fucking ankles. I was like, dude, come on. That doesn't look metal. That looks like your fucking weenie. But what can I say, man? This is actually a really good record. The funny thing about records like this is I have no excuse for not having turned on to this band 20 years ago, okay? Especially since I saw them and liked them. If I thought they'd sucked live, that would have been one thing. And, Testament blew me away. Obviously Megadeth, right? And I was a huge Testament fan, but I like these guys too, man. If I had seen them and thought they sucked, that'd be different, but I don't know, man. It just never happened. So the good thing is, that means there's still things like this out there that don't cost fucking $500 that I can find and I still really enjoy. Spend a little more on this than I usually like to spend on records that I find in the wild, but it didn't set me back any more than a Back on Black reissue or something when it costs, so I figure, fuck it, I'll take the original for, $24. That's how much I spent on it. So, glad to have scored that one. And, sort of in a similar vein here, without commentary. Yeah, without comment, my ass. I don't think I'm capable of showing something without comment unless I really don't have anything to say. And there goes little fucking text. That's funny. I've been kind of obsessed with this band. I just turned onto the blues rock thing in a way that I wouldn't have anticipated even a month ago. And that's all Vinyl Community, and that's a large degree Rock and Roll Truck Stop, actually. So another little shout out to Garner. But I don't know, man. All that R&B shit on this record that he was doing that I used to find so annoying, I just dig now, man. And I have to say, I don't like this record as much as I like the 70s ones, or even Ready and Willing, which I think was 79 or 80, was it? So I don't know. I guess that counts the 70s one, really. But, man, this is cool. It's just a good record. And even though I really never need to hear Here I Go Again, I don't know. I just like this mix better. It sounds like a song that actually someone wrote and cared about, not just some fucking, big label cash-in. So that's a really enjoyable record. This one isn't really the sort of thing that I listen to very much of anymore, but I've been curious about this specific band for a while, and frankly it was half price, so for 10 or 11 or 12 bucks, whatever it was, I grabbed this. This is the Churchills, and they're actually a 60s band that kind of have more like the 60s vibe going. If you're on like 60s psychedelic shit, this is a pretty damn good record. But it's a lot more in that sort of vein than I listen to anymore. Like back when I was all over bands like the Count 5 and fucking shit like that, I would have been eating this right up. I mean, a fucking beat band from Israel, because you'll notice they're I don't know if that's how you spell Churchills in Hebrew, but there you go. This is a hell of a band. For me, though, this is kind of more interesting just sort of as a predecessor to when they became Jericho. The fucking Jericho record. I might have talked about that in another video, I don't remember, but that's one of my favorite fucking 70s hard rockers. Just fucking great. After they were the Churchills, they became Jericho Jones and put out a record as that. I actually haven't heard that one, so I can't comment on it. Then they shortened their name to Jericho and made one more record, which got a reissue on Acid Nightmare probably 3-4 years ago by now. That's a fucking motherfucker of a record, though. Alright, a big chunk of why I wanted to do this update today, actually, is because the whole, like, vinyl community synchronicity thing in regard to sort of picking up on something and running with it. You know, I just made a comment about the blues rock thing that I've gotten into, and that's really kind of a consequence of rediscovering Savoy Brown, who I've been really digging the hell out of, but has also opened my mind to other bands that I kind of wrote off before. And consequently, there's another band here that I've actually been kind of obsessed with, so much so that I went out and grabbed a couple of these. I actually used to have one of these. Well, fuck it. Fuck the suspense. I used to have this record. Obviously, the later stuff is crap. I mean, I have no use for any of that shit. I won't even mention it. But these early Fleetwood Mac records were just too bluesy for my taste. Now I'm eating it up. Fucking love this. I've been fucking playing this shit every day, and I went ahead at a blow and grabbed that one. And this one. You know what's funny about this one is my wife was like half asleep looking at it, and she was like, what the fuck is wrong with that guy's skin? Like, she thought this was like some kind of skin lesion or something like that. Like, it's just a fucking shadow. There's nothing wrong with the guy. He just was making a funny face, that's all. And I think he's naked, too. Like, it's like the fucking 60s, you know. Of course he's fucking naked, but his skin is, like, healthy, you know. Anyway, and I also got this one. And I just listened to this one about an hour ago and fucking loved it. Yeah, trips me out, man. I'd really written off blues. I still wouldn't call myself a blues fan. I still wouldn't even call myself a blues rock fan. But just in the last couple of weeks, man, I've been all over the blues rock. I really have, in a way that I haven't been really ever before. And the other thing that I got recently that's sort of an extension of that is this thing. It's probably a little more rock than blues, especially on this record. But, you know, there's also the whole sort of Tommy Bolin thing that we've been talking about a little bit. In the context of the later Deep Purple shit sort of leading into the White Snake. And I don't know if I'd call this a Tommy Bolin solo album the way I think you could justifiably call Come Taste the Band by Deep Purple a crypto Tommy Bolin solo record. But this is a really enjoyable record too, man. It's not the greatest thing ever, you know. If you say, hey man, what are the next fucking 20 records I should buy, this would not make the list. But for just an enjoyable record that I've played probably 2 or 3 times since I bought it about a week ago, I just really dug the hell out of. It's a fucking good record, man. Alright, so finally, and then I actually won't stop the self-referential thing. So my next little self-referential thing, self to us collectively, I just gave it away, is hashtag I blame LJ. But he wasn't kidding about this record. I've got to second this one pretty enthusiastically. I've never owned this one before. I was kind of a late bloomer when it came to King Diamond anyway. Like, when this shit was coming out, I wasn't really paying attention. Mid-90s is about the time I turned on to Merciful Fate, and then King Diamond. And, yeah, I don't know, man. This is a fucking really good record. Strong candidate for the best King Diamond solo record. And this is the reissue. And I literally bought this last Thursday, and the following day a record dealer friend of mine said he got an original in. So now I've got a decision to make. Figures he never would have gotten it in if I hadn't bought that thing, but that's the way it goes. Alright, so those are the new arrivals. That's it for that. So what I'm going to do here is quite a few people have been talking about Truth and Janey, and so I'm just going to show off mine here real quick because as a little show of solidarity, because fucking Truth and Janey is awesome. First of all, this is actually my copy of No Rest for the Wicked. And if it looks blank, that's because it is blank. I don't know exactly what the story was with these, but my understanding is that it was released with a cover, but like sometime in the 80s or something, they turned up a few more, but they didn't have covers. They ended up just selling them like this. I don't know if it was one of those deals where they ordered 1,000 from the pressing plant and got 1,300 back, because they don't count those things that precisely, you know. And the extra ones ended up in blank sleeves or whatever. But that's the label. Montrose, or whatever that is, like Montrose and Albatross combined or something like that. Read somewhere too that this was a boot, but I find that a little hard to believe because I don't know why the fuck you go to the trouble to bootleg something and not even give it a cover. But you would make a custom label for it, and that just seems a little bit counterintuitive to me. Not that I would ever dream of bootlegging a record, of course. Anyway, then I also have... That's a great record. I mean, that's like the studio shit. That's the shit on the live record. That's awesome. This one is much less great. A little bit of... just a little bit of magic. It has a cool cover, I think. I mean, it looks like a fucking... It has potential to be a really good private press. Although, I guess it might look like a fucking disco 12-inch or something, too. I don't know, man, though. I would bite on this one. Obviously, I did, but... I got all three of these at once, though, from Monster back, like, a long time ago. When it was still Monster, for one thing. I don't know, man. This record, it's kind of hard to put my finger on it. I mean, the songs aren't as good. Okay, that's easy. And I really don't need these fucking covers of Can't Judge a Book and Blowin' in the Wind. I mean, Blowin' in the Wind, really? At the beginning of side 2, by the way. But, I don't know, man. You know what this record sounds like to me? You know how, like, when you were in a band, like when you were in school or whatever else, and the guitar player, like, you had some really good songs that you're really proud of, but you felt like you needed to fill out the set, so the guitar player came up with a riff that went like, or something like that, like this kind of fake, like, R&B shit that wasn't even really, like, a song, but, like, you needed to fill the time, so you tried to cobble something together out of it, but you were never really satisfied with it. Well, this whole record sounds like that. So, I don't know, man. It's... you know, if you see it cheap, it's not, like, terrible, but I don't know if you'll see it. You won't see it dirt cheap. And would I advise you to spend $20-$30 on it? No. Fuck, man. Shit's spicy, man. God, that's good, though. Alright, so finally I saved this one for last. Fuck. This is the live record. And I was actually looking at Truth and Janey Erupts, the one that I've been seeing shown, the one that Rockadrome just did. If I'm not mistaken, this is the exact same record. It appears to have the same songs on it. Well, the cover is in black and white, and obviously it just says live instead of Erupts. And yeah, it's the same picture on the cover, but the original cover of No Rest for the Wicked was the same picture, so... I think that might have been the only trick they had up their sleeve in the cover department. But, you know, there's a nice heavy cover. Some pictures in the gatefold. And let me show off the labels just because this Rock and Bach label. So, I don't know. I suppose you probably just ask Dennis and find out. But, obviously this is a great record. I mean, it's fucking Truth and Janey live in 76. Yeah, I don't know, man. To my ears, they do have their cornball moments, but I can totally deal with their cornball moments, first of all. And second of all, when they're rocking, they are so on. Yeah, I really think the song No Rest for the Wicked is one of, like, the unsung great songs of the 70s. Alright, so that's the new arrivals and the Truth and Janey. Finally, this cover actually, this kind of crap cover, just sort of reminded me of something else. I was looking at the Wizard, and the Wizard's like something that could potentially be cool. So here's another actually kind of metal obscuro that I think you all ought to turn on to, and that is the Mesmerist. The Innocent, the Forsaken, the Guilty. This looks like 4 songs. It's really more like 3 songs and an intro. The last song has the best title, Victim of Environmental Change. And I don't know, I'm not even quite sure if the Mesmerist is the band or the guy. The guy's name is Tommy Mesmercardo, apparently. But he's on the credits, it's like mixed by Mezzo and Dave. So I don't know if he's Mezzo and the band is the Mesmerist, or if he's just the Mesmerist. But in any case, this is a fucking great record. Before I ever heard it, it was described to me as a cross between Death SS and Merciful Fate. And, you know, usually when you hear something like that and you go, you know, that sounds like it's going to be the fucking best thing ever. Like, it's not. It sounds more like, I don't know, fucking Led Zeppelin or something like that, you know, or like, you know, not like Led Zeppelin, but like they were trying to be Led Zeppelin. You're like, man, that does not sound like Death SS and Merciful Fate. Well, this does, man. This is the fucking shit. I mean, he kind of has like the King Diamond-y thing going as far as how he sings, with, you know, the falsetto and sort of the screeching, but the rhythm section is kind of dry, and in that Death SS kind of way, like on the early shit of theirs, and man, it's just fucking fantastic. Plus, there are hand claps in it, and I'm kind of a sucker for that shit, I've got to admit, man. So, there's some shit on YouTube. Shadow Kingdom did a reissue of this not too long ago, which, as far as I can tell, was only on CD, which is unfortunate. But if you get a chance to check this out, man, this is a real motherfucker of a record, and it's one that should not slip you by, should you happen to come across one. So, yeah, listen now, thank me later. The Mesmerist is the shit. Bam! So, thanks as always. I didn't prattle on for 20 minutes this time, at least I don't think so. So I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. Till next time.